Why, hello there. Ever fancied having a small army of halfling militia? Well, you came to the right place. These are halflings from the classic fantasy range. That's interesting. I suppose, because like classic fantasy skeletons and stuff, that's like the ancient stuff. Halflings come from Lord of the Rings, right? So one would assume that's now classical fantasy?
Well, yeah, because it's a classical thing now, isn't it?
Yeah. So one day, what is D&D the Middle Age period of fantasies?
Yeah.
So Call of Cthulhu would be
old.
Well, no, that would be relatively new, wouldn't it?
Oh, I guess, yeah, because they're doing new things.
Yeah, they're doing new
now,
things.
So it's like more modern.
Maybe it's a revival, maybe a Renaissance period.
Renaissance,
of fantasy. With the Renaissance fantasy period. Given we're in a post 40k world, and Warhammer Fantasy, that's all gone.
Bolt action's gonna.
Bolt action will be the new thing. Maybe one day this whole area will be classed as ancient period of wargaming. The days when you used to be able to get Games Workshop figures and play with them.
Yeah, and there's one day, so what people are going to do is they're going to 3D print paint onto figures.
Yes, that'd be good if you could. Yeah, that's awesome. Right. Anyway, this is Imperator Vespasian, his trusty sidekick, and a small squeaky monster who is sat on my knee because he's a small squeaky monster. And if he doesn't sit on my knee, he's going to scream his face off because he's a lovely little Oliver. So, are you going to say anything? No? No, he's not interested. Right. So these are from Atlantic Games. As I said, a while back when we got some Atlantic Games stuff, we went through their catalogue and bought a load of their gear. So we've not only got the halflings, we've also got the this sort of stuff as well, and this stuff and this stuff. We've got all sorts of stuff from Atlantic, because we're going through an Atlantic period.
Yeah, we are.
of stuff.
They're random. They're very random companies.
They are random. They have some strange. I think, like the guys who run Atlantic, they said, "Well, I've always wanted hobbits. Let's make some hobbits." And then they said, "I quite like World War One, so we'll have French and Germans." I'm not interested in anything else.
The idea of like French from like Napoleonic era, but in sci-fi world.
Yeah, I actually did a 40k Imperial Guard army using Vitrix French, but with las rifles. I bought a load of Imperial Guard boxes and I swapped the rifles out. Yes, I did. I did. You weren't even born then. We didn't even know you were going to appear then. In fact, I'm not even sure you were born then, to be honest. Anyway, so these are the hobbits of Hobbiton in the Shire, or generic halflings. And you can see
it's even their skeletons.
These hobbits are dealing with a skeleton problem that they have going on, which is great. Yeah. I just dropped the box. I've only got one hand. Right, so.
It's funny, I'm not going to help you, it's funny.
This is the sprue. This is your job, mate. Right. This is the sprue of the figures. And we get 5 figures to a sprue and amount of sprues in the box to make 40 figures. Right, we have a collection of helmets who are all quite good. I like that helmet. I've used that helmet for my hobbit officer. That's my hobbit officer right there. I do apologise, I appear to be losing the light.
That's what happens when the sun decides to not be there anymore.
I know, it's annoying. Right, so we have slings for slingshots, because hobbits are famous for slings. Bows, not sure what draw strength a hobbit would have, to be honest.
They're fighting skeletons, alright?
Yeah, pull it about it. And then we have a collection of nice little helmets. We have some nice rounded helmets and some some thingy helmets. Sorry, my brain just melted for a second. And some spears and halberds. Bill hooks, which is quite nice. It's quite good. So let's have a look at the actual painted figures, shall we? Oh God! No. That is the officer. I've given him a wolf skin cloak, which doesn't come in the box. That's a nice little hobbit officer. Do you like him? Do you like the hobbit officer? Yes, you do.
He's wearing a knight's helmet, and you have that exact helmet on the wall.
I do. I actually own that helmet. And here is another officer. He's been wounded, and A soldier is helping him because he's been wounded quite badly, and he's taking him across the field to help him. And there he goes, this little wounded hobbit. Then we have a squadron of attack chickens, which also comes in the box. Those attack chickens are deadly. We have a halberd, or billhook, should I say, and a different type of billhook, which is a billhook in attack rather than defense, which is quite nice. And here we have one of those hobbits with a bow. He appears to be, he's just fired his bow and he's looking to see if he hits the thing he fired at. This happy little hobbit with a bow. And here's a hobbit trying to find out how far he can actually draw an arrow. As I said, not sure on the upper body strength of a hobbit. Not sure how useful bows would be. I know Persian bows were absolutely pathetic because they had absolutely no draw strength whatsoever, and they were made out of reeds, so the arrows actually snapped when they hit something, so they were useless. Oh, pardon you. You just burped. Right, and this is a literal flail, isn't it? It's a garden implement for
oh my god,
sizing. And this is a garden implement, and this is taken from the zombie box.
Ooh.
The zombie box, which I don't have a spare hand to grab hold of, from Fireforge.
Oh,
pardon
yeah.
you!
He's aware of that.
Did you just burp? So Fireforge have this rather lovely box of zombies, and it has a lot of garden implements in them, and I've been using the garden implements to make the hobbits look a little bit more hobbity. So the basic idea is that I'm having hobbit sort of militia, sort of trained band hobbit guards, and then we have the more civilian type of hobbit who's sort of drafted in, or maybe just defending his farm. That's the basic plot, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, what else do we have to say about hobbits? Of hobbits from Hobbiton in the Shire.
Hobbits, aren't they?
Well, hobbits are pretty cool. Interesting creatures. It's very interesting that the Lord Sauron had never heard of Hobbiton, and yet Sauron had been living in Middle-earth for 3,000 years.
Well, you never knew about it.
No, didn't know where the Shire was, never heard of it. It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Well, why would he even think about his existence?
Well,
hobbits.
Amon Sol isn't far from the Shire. It's 2 weeks' walk from the Shire for a hobbit. You can get there in a horse in 2 days. So it's not far, and you'd think that the Witch King would have known about Hobbiton, but even he hadn't heard of it. He'd only heard of Bree.
Bree is a town next to it.
Yes. So he went to Bree and asked, "Where's Hobbiton? I'm looking for it." Or was it Ren? No, that was Witch King, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't the Witch King. The
That
Witch
was
King
Witch King.
didn't go on a hunt.
He did.
It was his lackeys that did that.
He drowned at...
I thought it was his lackeys that
Ruin.
did that.
No, he was one of the races that went out. I think it was a Witch King that accosted... he was the Witch King that accosted the hobbits on the road when they hid.
Oh, yeah.
He
He calls up spiders and googles to come out. And
yes, and then he met up with Ren, Camul, and the other one. Ren, I think, was the only female king, wasn't she? Or queen, in that case, not a king. So, but it's interesting that the Dark Lord had never heard of the Shire.
Well, if he's a Dark Lord, why on earth would you think of a place like Hobbiton?
Well, exactly. Now, isn't it odd that all the bad things that happened to Middle-earth never affected Hobbiton?
That's true, it never did affect it.
A
Then again,
bit.
it was always under control of Gandalf.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Hobbiton may actually be a very magical place, possibly more powerful than Lothlorien. And the reason it's so powerful is because the hobbits don't realise the power.
They'll use their powers for gardening.
Yes, like Samwise Gamgee, he gets the ring. That's the best thing. I just run through this one, right? Boromir gets the ring and says, "I could sweep the armies of darkness before me and save Gondor," right? And Gandalf just wants to be.
He goes
God.
insane.
Yeah. The lady wants to be loved by all, regardless of whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
Very Artemisia. And Sam gets the ring and says, I could be the world's greatest gardener. That's it. And Frodo, he just wanted the ring. He didn't want any. He didn't want to be power over anything.
He did become a bit.
Well, obviously, because the ring does corrupt.
The ring corrupts you.
But hobbits were able to hold the ring for considerable amounts of time without being affected by the power, or very limited.
And then again, that couldn't be because of magical. It could also be because the ring has never actually been held by a hobbit before, apart from one.
Gollum.
Gollum, that's it.
And it isn't interesting that the ring caused all these trouble until a hobbit found it.
Yeah.
Gollum. Oh, actually, Deagle.
And he couldn't escape. The ring was trapped.
Yeah, and after that, the ring was like, oh, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Help!
And Bilbo stole it.
And Bilbo got it, and then even when the Dark Rider is right there, the ring's saying to Frodo, "Put me on. I want this guy to take me to the Dark Lord so I can have fun."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'm a hobbit. I'm more powerful than the One Ring. I don't have to put the One Ring on. I'm more powerful than you."
I feel sorry for the One Ring.
Yeah, I know.
He gets bullied.
He does. Imagine the power in a hobbit. That's amazing.
Imagine if Gollum had to put a ring on for once.
Yeah.
He never
got to the poor chap. I mean, he used it to hunt goblins. Goblinses. He used to hunt the goblinses. He didn't really like goblin meat. He preferred fish. But he still ate goblins when he had to. Because sometimes there weren't a lot of fish.
And a lot of times they used to fall down from there. Top of the mountain. And so
float down the river. So that's a rotting goblin bloated in the water. No wonder there weren't that many fish.
Yeah.
Imagine all the goblin poo. Oh, that would have been an effluent pipe for the goblins. That's disgusting. Yeah. That'd be like living in one of your nappies.
Do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, sorry, we have talked for far too long about the One Ring and the Shire. Anyway, these are figures from Atlantic Games and they're absolutely awesome, so go buy them now. I recommend anything from Atlantic Games. We've never had anything that's a problem, have we? Why are you looking at me like that?
Not everything.
Oh, Persians, yeah. We weren't huge fans of the Persians.
Most of their stuff's fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of them are a bit too complicated for my liking. They're very, very complicated figures.
Yes.
Others, you just don't get enough in a box of the price, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, 40 figures isn't bad.
It's not bad. That's what I said, these ones are fantastic.
Yeah, these are great value for money.
The skeletons are also fantastic.
Yes, definitely. The Germans, because you get a lot.
Yeah, you get a lot. You can sell. You can get 30. Yeah, you can get 30 Germans from one box. That's fantastic.
But we still haven't managed to assemble the spiders yet. We're still
not interested in doing it.
Yeah,
you can do it.
We didn't like the spiders. Anyway, we'll get onto that sooner or later. Yeah, and do a video on it. And look forward because we're planning on playing a little game with hobbits.
Are we?
Yes. Well, you know we are.
No, I don't.
You just don't pay attention.
No,
do you?
I don't.
No, you don't remember what you did yesterday.
I have like 2 brain cells.
Yeah.
One's for eating, one's for drinking.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so that's everything. Have a look below, and you can see we've got some of these hobbits up already on sale. If you want any of them, they're quite cool. And
you should definitely buy them. They're fantastic.
Do the outro.
Oh, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Ooh. What you think of the Halfling Militia. That's everything from me.
And everything from him. And everything from the little squeegee pie face.
Who wants to crawl on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.